Hey everybody, I'm going to share with you my top 15 most complimented fragrances in my entire collection. And this list has nothing to do with my bias and which fragrances I like the most to wear. It's all about the outside perspective, the ones that have gotten me the best reaction. So I have some here that you can find at your local Macy's, Sephora, Ulta, and then there's going to be a couple niche fragrances that are a bit harder to find, but you can most likely find them at Nordstrom, Bloomingdale's, and if you want to do some online sampling like Max Aroma, all that kind of stuff. All right, so these very mass appealing, nothing new here in particular. I've talked about these a lot. So the first is Sea Intense by Armani, and this is the only fragrance that's marketed to women on this entire list. God, I fall in love with myself when I wear this. It smells like a hot girl. This fragrance smells like a rebellious girl. She's a little bit rough around the edges, but she handles her own shit. You know, it smells like black currant and vanilla, so kind of like blackberries and vanilla. And I think of Lara Croft, Angelina Jolie, and Tomb Raider when I smell this fragrance right here. And this one on my skin easily lasts over 10 hours. And there is not a moment that I'm wearing this fragrance that I don't like it. From start to finish, it's incredible. So Sea Intense by Armani. The 2014 black bottle, I haven't tried the new release. Next is a very popular one, but it's popular for a reason. Spice Bomb Extreme by Viktor and Rolf. This is marketed to men, and I don't care about that. Of course, I wear masculine fragrances because I just enjoy them personally. And this scent has never, I know some people think that it's too masculine, but whenever I wear it and I tell people what it is, they don't believe me when I say like it's Spice Bomb Extreme. They're like, wait, the men's one? And like they don't believe it because they think it smells totally different, which, you know, skin chemistry, that's number one here. But anyways, this is a tobacco vanilla fragrance, and this has an extreme sex appeal to women in particular. And you know what? Like I understand how it's sexy, but it's not like a fragrance that I smell and I go crazy over it. But when I'm around girls, they love it. Like they love it. And when I'm around guys, they're like, man, that smells really nice. Like they enjoy it as well. Okay, so it's a fragrance that keeps people, you know, keeps people getting closer and closer to you. So this scent right here leaves a lovely scent trail. I mean, look at it. It's shaped like a grenade. I mean, it's gonna perform. Look at the bottle. Look at the bottle. This thing is just a really nice, sexy fragrance. Great for the cold weather, great for nighttime. This is the scent that people have interrupted me in conversations to tell me that I smell good. So Spice Bomb Extreme by Viktor and Rolf. Number two, and by the way, this is in no particular order. I'm just gonna be grabbing as I see them. La Nuit de l'Homme. You know the deal about this fragrance. If you've looked at fragrance reviews, you've probably seen this on almost everybody's channel. And there's a very good reason for it, okay? I sprayed this on my sheets earlier today, and somebody walked in my room and they were like, your room smells so good. Like, and they were just hanging out here for a little bit, okay? So if you have this fragrance and you're kind of tired of wearing it because you feel like it's a bit too popular for you, spray it on your sheets. You know what I mean? Make use of that bottle. But anyways, this fragrance is pretty much an orgasm in a bottle. It truly is. This one's marketed to men. It's like a cardamom fragrance, and it has that spiciness, but it also has the sweetness. However, this is going to be a little bit different from what most people say. I find it to be a fresh fragrance at that. You know what I mean? This is something I've worn in the summertime when it's hot outside to test it. And it was perfectly fine. You know, it wasn't too much, it wasn't too sweet, and it stays close to the skin, so it's not leaving a huge scent trail. It's not having amazing projection. So if that's what you're looking for, overspray this fragrance, and you won't regret it. Like, and trust me, you won't choke anybody out if you like spray 17 sprays of this. Trust me. But anyways, La Nuit de l'Homme by Yves Saint Laurent has had women in a chokehold since 2009. The reactions I've gotten from this, stellar. Very sexual reactions with this fragrance. Okay. Next is another one marketed to men, Prada Lum EDT. I haven't tried the Le Parfum, but this one right here, this fragrance smells like luxurious fabric softener. It smells like clean linens, and honestly, simplicity is your best friend when it comes to to wearing a mass appealing, or just not even that, when it comes to just wearing a fragrance. You know what I mean? Usually people gravitate to things that are just simple and familiar. And of course, if you smell like fresh linens, it's kind of sexy, you know what I mean? Like, hey, like, you smell good, you smell like you take care of yourself, you know what I mean? Sometimes just smelling clean does it. For men, for women, whoever. This is another masculine fragrance that I find very, very unisex because of the iris note. So iris is a floral, which gives it kind of that unisex vibe to me, honestly. It smells like a bad bitch CEO. And on top of that, it smells like a really clean businessman, you know? So this fragrance is just, it does it all, okay? People have followed my scent trail to ask me what I'm wearing when I've worn Prada Lum EDT. I think it was a guy. It was a guy that did that. But yeah, pulls a ton of compliments and girls love it as well. I mean, come on, Prada Lum. And the next one, so we're doing number 5, is none other than Pie by Givenchy. And let me just reiterate that if you're seeing these bottles and you're like, oh no, these are all a bunch of designers, all that kind of stuff, remember, these are the most complimented when I'm out there in the real world. I'm not trying to impress a frag head I know across the street, okay? So if you want compliments, this is the video for you. If you're looking for something unique and something different and something out of this world, this is not the video for you, okay? So anyways, back to it. Pie by Givenchy is a cuddly, almost baby powder vanilla fragrance. And this thing took a while to grow on me, but once it did, everything clicked. And I was like, man, I want to wear Pie today. You know, it became kind of addictive to smell. So me being the wearer and being addicted to smelling it is just like, I finally understood why when I would wear this, people just wanted to, like, they kept smelling me. They just kept complimenting me nonstop. This is something that when somebody compliments you once, they're probably gonna do it again, especially if like you're hanging out with them. They'll be like, hey, you smell good. And throughout your hangout time, they might be like, damn, you smell really fucking good. You know what I mean? It just brings that out of people. This fragrance is also very cozy, and it does cozy sexy really, really well. This is a nose to the neck fragrance. So, you know, if you're having an intimate night or a date, anything like that, and you're hoping to get a little bit intimate, you know what I mean? A little something, something. This is the fragrance for that. So Pie by Givenchy. Now we're gonna go ahead with number 6, and it's By the Fireplace by Maison Margiela. If I had a bottle of Jazz Club, I would throw that in as well, but I don't. So I'm gonna go with this one. But honestly, this one has pulled more for me than Jazz Club. And I honestly prefer this one in particular, but in general, Jazz Club is more versatile than this one. But anyways, By the Fireplace is just a very, it's a fragrance with a lot of character. It smells like burning wood in the opening, and it dries down to s'mores. It's an intense yet simple fragrance that is either, you either love it or you hate it, to be honest. There's not really, there's not really an in-between with it. I like kept my windows open and now I'm like, what is, anyways, yeah, By the Fireplace by Maison Margiela is a fragrance that, lasts this lasts over 10 hours on me, because whenever I wear this fragrance, I'm usually outdoors at nighttime, and this thing carries, absolutely carries. And to me, I love the whole process of this fragrance. I love like bonfires and stuff, so that's why I gravitate towards the opening. And then I love the sweetness from the vanilla that just makes you not want to take your nose off of it. When I first sprayed this fragrance on my wrist, like on the sleeve of my wrist, I could not stop smelling that for a long time. And same goes for when I wore this around people. They just kept like I would just see their nose in my peripheral vision. Just, I like that. That smells really good. I like that. And I'm just like, cool. So it's not just me, you know? So By the Fireplace, Maison Margiela. Next is the sexy summertime fragrance, Dolce Gabbana Light Blue Intense. The Intense in particular, okay? This fragrance just does it, man. Oof. One of the most complimented fragrances in my entire collection. And if you can see the dent that this one has compared to a lot of the other ones that I own here, you understand that I use this a lot. But when I've had people smell this fragrance, both in the air and on my skin, they love it and they want a bottle of it. Like out of all the fragrances before, when I didn't have this cabinet behind me and I had everything on my desk, I'd have people come over and I'm like, yeah, go ahead, try what you want, smell what you want. And this was the fragrance that when I asked them like, which one out of all these like stood out to you? Like, what would you wear? They were like, oh, this one. And the guys too. I didn't tell anybody who it's marketed to, nothing like that. I just let people grab fragrances and smell them. And like both like guys and girls were like, this one, this is sexy and it's fresh. You know what I mean? So it goes back to the whole simplicity is, it goes a long, long way. Okay, so this is a lemon, apple, musk fragrance, and it is fresh and sexy. I love Dolce Gabbana Light Blue Intense. It's very easy for me to reach for when it's hot outside. So this is my go-to designer summertime fragrance. And you know what, if you're a guy, get your nose on this one. This one's sexier than the men's, and this is very, very unisex. So you don't have to worry about it coming across too feminine by any means, or even slightly feminine by any means. Okay, I talked about these two today, but I have to, like, again, this isn't my bias. It's about the people around me, and the people around me love oud wood. This fragrance has given me the whoa reaction where they're like, whoa, I have never smelled something like that. Can I smell that one more time? Can I smell you one more time? This fragrance right here. Okay, I've worn it when it was hot outside and I was wearing like a white shirt. I was doing my business, like running around Target, and people were turning their heads and someone was like, hey, like you smell really nice, by the way. I was like, thank you. I appreciate that. So this has given me compliments from strangers with me just minding my business. Oud Wood by Tom Ford. Unique, fresh, blends of wood, pretty much. And yes, it's unique to the average person out there. I am not talking about frag heads. I feel like I have to keep repeating that because sometimes when people watch my videos, they're like, oh, that's not unique. Everyone knows that. No, they don't. Everyone out there that's not watching these videos doesn't really know what oud wood is. They know Tom Ford, but they don't know oud wood, okay? So let's just remember that. Next is the fragrance I'm wearing right now. Ombre Nuit by Dior. I sprayed this in the morning on this sweater and I still smell it, and guess what? I want to just, there was barely anything there. I want to smell it on me again. The dry down, everything, I love this. It's my current signature scent, or it was for a long time, but I was testing Tuxedo nonstop over the past 4 days, so I've been using that one. But this is just the fragrance that I wore to almost every party that I went to over the past year, ever since I got it, ever since I had the tiny like sample that Dior gives out. I finished that one, and this was a gift from a follower, and I'm already making a dent in it. But this thing, whenever I would hug somebody, they would take a deep whiff and they'd be like, what are you wearing? I love that. That smells so good. This is the fragrance that I was in a conversation outside. We were wearing masks, and the girl next to me just kept getting closer until her face was in my neck. And she was like, you smell so good. Please tell me what you're wearing. And also, and then she asked me, can I have what you're wearing? I was like, you can't, but I appreciate the compliment, okay? This very unisex fragrance right here. All of the private blends are completely unisex. And this fragrance smells like amber, rose, and there's some pink pepper and grapefruit in the opening, but those kind of go away in the opening. But yeah, this scent right here, everyone has complimented me on this. And I've been known for this fragrance for the past few months now, or past couple months that I've had it. So I love you, Ombre Nuit. You have a special place in my heart. Okay, now moving over to the niche side. Elysium by Raja Parfums. This is my favorite Raja, and it's just a blast of like a lemony cocktail fragrance, okay? This scent right here is just fresh and sexy. This thing has great, like to me, on my skin, it has great projection. I know that people complain about longevity, projection, all that like scent trail, all that kind of stuff, but thankfully this sticks on my skin really, really well. And whenever I wear it, I don't have to be too close to people for them to be like, for me to hear the compliment that smells good. You smell really nice, Melissa. Like this fragrance right here from guys and girls. So this is one that's marketed to men, but to be totally honest, everything from the Parfum Cologne line can be, well, not everything, it's fairly unisex, you know what I mean? And usually with niche fragrances, it's kind of understood that the whole gender thing, like nobody really cares too much about that. You want to experiment with different notes, and if you enjoy the fragrance, that's all there is to it. You know, it's not too much of, you're a girl wearing a boy's fragrance. Like nobody really gives a fuck like that. But anyways, Elysium pulls. I wore this in Vegas, pulled like crazy. Wore this in Southern California on some, like when I went out to some lunches when it was hot and the sun was just like beaming, you know what I mean? The sun was just, oof. Like, God, it was super hot that day. But everybody loved this one on me. So, great fresh fragrance. Elysium by Roche Parfums. Next is another freshie. Hasselbaugh by Nishane. This is a fresh pineapple fragrance. And it has a similar DNA to Creed Aventus, but they go in different directions, okay? I don't think you can mistake one fragrance for the other. Like, you won't smell this and be like, oh, you're wearing Creed. And you won't wear Creed and be like, oh, that's Hasselbaugh. You know what I mean? But again, similar direction, right? So this has some oak moss in the dry down, and this is also a fragrance that is marketed as unisex. And this shit lasts easily over a day. Easily. I was getting complimented the next day when I wore this fragrance in the morning the previous day, okay? And when I got complimented, it wasn't with somebody hugging me or anything like that. It was me minding my business and somebody walked behind me and was like, damn, you smell nice. You smell good. So Hasselbaugh by Nishane, a very fresh, pineapple-y kind of fragrance, all right? So if you're looking for a beast mode freshie, here it is. It's going to pull you a lot. Okay. Another one, we're almost done here, is Naxos by Xerjoff. Do I even have to say more about this fragrance? I mean, you know what? I will, because if you're new to this channel and if this is the first video you've seen of me, you might be like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So I'll explain it to you. This is a cherry tobacco honey fragrance. There's also some lavender and vanilla, but like everything about this screams bad boy, bad girl. This is a unisex fragrance, and it just has that sex appeal to it, but also that sophistication. You know what I mean? Like, think of pretty much what I said, the rich bad boy, bad girl. That's what you get with Naxos, and it easily performs over 12 hours. And honestly, I did one spray of this on my jacket and I smelt it the next morning. So, and my whole jacket smelled like it. Okay, so this fragrance really carries and it sticks to you. You can wear this on dates. Better to like for the cool weather or like the fall winter, in my opinion. But I mean, if your summer times are like get up to 65 degrees and it's like really cold where you live, then you can wear this year round, you know? So Naxos by Xerjoff is a solid fragrance, and I'm going to do my best to have everything linked in the description, or at least put the names, okay, so you can follow along. Should have said that in the beginning. And we're down to the last three. Leighton by Parfums de Marly. Leighton by Parfums de Marly. Wow. This thing pulls. This thing pulls compliments. If that's all you want, if you're like, I need a niche fragrance that's going to pull me compliments, what do I get? This, especially from the ladies. They enjoy this. Honestly, the guys really like this too when I've worn this, but the way girls react to this blows a lot of things out of the water, okay? It blows a lot of like the negativity around this fragrance out of the water, because you might hear some people online saying, oh, it's a basic fragrance, it's overhyped, it's blah, blah, blah. So you'd be like, oh, okay, you'd evaluate it. But if you test it and you wear it and a bunch of girls are all over you and being like, hey, you smell really nice and all that, because this just has a very likable DNA, like it's an apple vanilla kind of smell. And there's also some cardamom as well. And all of those notes are very sexy and comforting. You know what I mean? So, I mean, what matters more to you? What strangers say on the internet about something being basic and overhyped, or girls in real life saying you smell fucking fantastic? I'll leave that up to you. But this easily performs over 12 hours. And down to the last two. Désir Toxique by M. Mika. Oof. Polarizing, to be honest, because of the cannabis note. Oof, shit. This is a cinnamon blackcurrant. Well, blackcurrant. I say blackberries with it. So like a cinnamon, blackcurrant, cannabis, patchouli, musk fragrance. So this thing is dirty sexy. Okay, this is a fragrance that is like you're gonna go to a party, but it's not obnoxious. It's not obnoxious. It's not a screamer, but it's more in your scent bubble, but when you get a whiff of this fragrance right here, ooh, yeah. I have had the reaction, like I've had the eyes rolling back reaction when somebody has smelled this fragrance on me before. And whenever I hug people and I'm wearing this, they're like, you smell nice. Like, I really like that fragrance. They always ask me too, they're like, what are you wearing? Because it doesn't smell like the typical fragrance you find at Macy's or anything. It doesn't smell like a Chanel No. 5, especially if they see me as a woman. They're like, oh, wow, that's different. Like, I like that. And they're just intrigued by this fragrance right here. But even if you're a guy wearing this scent, somebody smells it on you, they're like, that's not Bleu de Chanel. That's not Dior Sauvage. That's not 1 million. What is that fragrance right there? So I do think you have to have a certain confidence to pull this one off because it can be polarizing with that weed note. You know what I mean? So Désir Toxic by M. Micallef. And lastly, one of the two niche fragrances that I bought myself when I was new to the game, and it's Cedrat Boisé by Mancera. It's like walking into Jamba Juice. That's how the opening of this thing smells. And it dries down smelling woody. Okay, so this is also unisex. It's marketed to both men and women. However, I find it to lean more masculine because of the woody dry down, you know? But if you're a girl that likes fruity, citrusy, woodsy smells, then give this one a shot right here. This fragrance projects like a monster. But the thing about it is you don't even think it projects. You think that it's not even on your skin anymore. You think that the fragrance is gone, but it's not. Like this is the scent that I'd be like, damn, 5 hours later, I'm like, I can't smell it. And then I'll get compliments on it 8 hours later. And I'm like, damn, everyone else can smell it. And I'll get compliments from like 2 arms lengths away 8 hours later with this fragrance. So it kind of comes and goes and I could never keep track of it, you know, but I know that it's on me. I've come to the realization that, you know what, I'll just ask somebody if they smell it. And I did that with my sister, actually. I'm like, hey, Dar, like, can you smell anything? And she's like, oh yeah, no, trust me, I smell you. So don't worry about a lack of performance with this fragrance. So I would say go a little bit easy on the trigger because people around you this will be pushing off your skin, no problem. But anyways, that was my top 15 most complimented fragrances in my entire collection, my non-bias opinion. This is just me picking them from, oh yeah, like I remember this one got this reaction, this one got that reaction. So if you're looking for superstar compliments and you're looking for no-brainer fragrances to pick up, excuse me, I would suggest checking out the designer side first. If you're new, right? If you're a bit newer and you want something really likable, these are a great way to start. But then if you're already into these and you have these and you want very easy to like niche fragrances, then the ones I mentioned on this side will do it for you 110%. So anyways, thank you so much for watching this video and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.